Hello, friends. Sorry, my first device just died, so now I'm on another device. Can you all hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, wonderful. If I can just invite, please, for Samin to please share the agenda on the screen. Thank you so much. Okay, so we don't need to take a registered apologies because that's the beauty of Zoom. It does that for us. And the minutes of the last AGM, due to time restraints, we are just making those minutes available for anyone who requests them. They can just send an email. And matters arising from there were no matters arising from the last minutes, to my knowledge. Pundit Bharath, if I'm mistaken, kindly let me know. All correspondence has been by email, and all the correspondence has been about setting up the webinars that have happened internationally and locally. Moving on to the chairperson's and secretary's report. So I've put together a narrative report, and I just wanted to, before I share it, ask if there's anything that the chairperson would like to share. Go ahead.
Well, really, you can do the secretary's report first, and if there's something outstanding, then I will fill in.
Okay, no problem. Thank you, Pundit. And I also just wanted to just say a quick note here that our chairperson is Pundit Bharath. Our treasurer is Karen Reed. Our vice chairperson is Debbie Hustis. And my name is Haley Fudu, and I am your secretary. Okay, so moving on to the next slide, please, Samin. There is no election this year. We do it every 2 years as per the Constitution. So at the next AGM, there will be an election, but that's a standing item that's always just kept on the agenda. Okay, thank you so much. As you can see, I've tried to quickly, maybe you could put the screen a little bigger, Saminjun. There we go, thank you. Okay, so basically, these are the different activities that happened during the last year of the 2019-2020 year. So our financial year ends at the end of February. So we were unable to do a report of the last of this that year. So we're giving it today. And in addition to all of these activities, as you can see, that happened in these months, please just take a second to look through them. It's just a little overwhelming, and I don't want to spend all the time reading them. But as you can see, in almost every month of the year, Religions for Peace hosted a youth peace forum, a community engagement event, or an interfaith prayer, or dialogues with different religious leaders, which was all very, very inspiring. And in addition to that, there was the 10th World Assembly of Religions for Peace International, which took place in Germany. And it was an incredible time where youth, women, environmental protection activists, and religious leaders and representatives from around the world, numbering about 900 individuals, gathered together in Lindau, Germany for a beautiful, beautiful display of the power of the human family coming together with certain goals to act for a better world. So as I had shared previously before I began, Religions for Peace International, as well as Religions for Peace South Africa, have several goals. They have 6 main goals, and they include protection of the environment, the upliftment of women, and working for equality, working for justice, freedom, and also interreligious understanding and dialogue, and human rights. So those are just to mention a few of the goals and the work of Religions for Peace International, as well as the Religions for Peace South Africa. So we've been talking about crisis and victory today, and as you can see, all of these wonderful events took place, but I've also compiled the report of activities during all of 2020, and it was such a long report, I couldn't fit it in a slide. I did send it to Samine if she wants to just perhaps bring that email up so you can just see the extent of more activity that we were able to take part in, as well as host, now that we have a platform like Zoom. And this is very, very significant in the concept of crisis and victory, because through the crisis of COVID, it has forced us to learn how to use new technologies, not just a few business people anymore, but all of us. And that's really exciting, because what's ended up happening is we've learned how to connect with the whole of the country. And for many, many years, Religions for Peace South Africa has only operated out of KZN. And that is only because we didn't know we had the capacity to truly build a more national representative body. So what's happened now is that Religions for Peace International has been encouraging us since the World Assembly to please build a truly representative national Religions for Peace. And COVID has allowed us to do that. So here we are today at the Desmond Tutu lecture, and this is really the first one where it wasn't just participants from KZN that were a part of the lecture. We had friends from the Eastern Cape, the Western Cape, Gauteng, and various other provinces, I believe. We had religious representatives from different provinces, all able to join because of the crisis that we have found ourselves in. So dear friends, we need to all just kind of remember sometimes that these are the things that help us grow. So as you can see here, these are the various events that we have either supported as Religions for Peace throughout the year, or as participants. For example, the We Will Speak Out South Africa, which is they asked the Baha'is, the Christians, the Muslims, the Hindus, the Jewish people to come as people of faith to participate in this conference on how to speak out against gender-based violence and abuse of children and abuse of all people in vulnerable groups. So the year started off with that, and then we hosted our Enough is Enough workshop, which was hosted in collaboration with the Gandhi Development, and several other meetings were set up with the Secretariat to just kind of go through what's happening for the year. And then we were hosting our first beautiful event up in the Vuleka Center in Botas Hill, which was a beautiful interfaith dialogue and prayer. And then right after that, we had planned another one for Human Rights Day. And as you know, COVID broke out. So we had to cancel that March event. But then we quickly got on our feet and we learned how to participate in events online. So if you scroll down, Samin June, you can see that most of these events, almost all of them, were then held online throughout the year. We had the environmental campaign that Dear Marilyn has been heading throughout the year, which is a forum on how youth can help be facilitators of healthy environmental change and education. So she's been hosting and supporting those types of activities throughout the year. I think it would be nice if Marilyn doesn't mind, she could perhaps share a few kind of highlights of the year. In addition to that, in May we had not only the climate forums, but we also participated in various...
Because yesterday she said she's going to put $2,000.
Sorry, Samin, can you just mute that person? Thank you. So throughout May, we began to really participate in international webinars hosted by Religions for Peace International on everything from global ceasefires to interfaith action on COVID-19, to the upliftment of women, to the development of interreligious councils, which as a South African interreligious council, we are really still developing. So we've got to participate in so many beautiful interfaith dialogues and webinars throughout the year. And as you can see, it just went on and on. every year in the past, we've usually done one, maybe two events a month as Religions for Peace, whereas now we're doing at least 2 or 3 up to 10 events a month due to the Zoom platform that we were able to access. And just moving down a little bit more, Sami. Thank you. So we also participated in a global, I can't even read all of these, but I just want to show them all to you. So if you want to just glance through the topics, and also I'm hoping that this will you to participate on some of the upcoming seminars, webinars, and events online in the coming months. Because really, it's been a way of really truly connecting with our human family in a way that is very new and exciting. Prayers for Justice were hosted in October. Every month in Religions for Peace hosts an interfaith prayer on the first Thursday of the month, except this month because of the Desmond Tutu lecture. And we've had beautiful prayers offered of various styles and cultures from around the world. And dear friends, I don't want to take up too much more time with the narrative, these 2 narrative reports of activity, but I just wanted to share with you that we have not been sitting quiet. And the one who has inspired me the most is Mama Ila. She turned 80 years old recently, and this woman, she has proved so dedicated. She sits sometimes 8 to 10 hours a day in Zoom meetings and webinars, helping facilitate, helping support the ones that are happening internationally as well as in South Africa. So she's been really inspiring and reminds us of how much we truly can do even from the comfort of our home. So dear friends, we're just going to scroll down to the last few. Thank you. So the close of our financial year is February, like I said. So there are going to be a few events coming up, like the 16th of December. If there's any others in January or February, you will be notified either by email or Facebook or Instagram. And you're all very welcome to attend, because again, Religions for Peace is just that. It is peace. It's a space for all of people of faith, of goodwill, to come together, to learn, and to grow together. So with that, I would like to hand over to our chairperson, and you can put the agenda back on. Thank you, Samim.
Thank you, Haley. There's a few things I just want to share with you all that as far as my report goes. That was the report on the secretary side for the activities for the year. And I've got a small report here that I want to just share with everybody. Right at the outset, I thank all members and officials of RSP South Africa for their assistance and the support. Kicking off on the 4th to the 7th of February 2019, I attended a conference in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, in preparation for the World Assembly in Germany in August. Lots of presentations were done by ACRL leaders and also delegates from the different countries in Africa and the Indian Ocean Islands. On the 12th of March 2019, RfP South Africa we held our own conference in preparation for the World Assembly. We were honored to have the person by the name of Mr. Stein Willemstad. He's a senior advisor for RfP International in New York, and he came all the way from Norway. Among other distinguished guests, in our presence, we had Ms. Elizabeth Peterson from SAFI, that is a South African Family and Faith Institute in Cape Town, and Ms. Yashika Singh, SABC, Head of Religion. Attendance to the conference was very good, and all our delegates who were to attend the World Assembly prepared themselves very well. On the 6th to the 9th of May 2019, I attended another conference in Uganda, Kampala, in preparation for the World Assembly. The youth were also included in this conference, and we had a youth that from South Africa, Miss Akira Ramdin from the South African Hindu Mahasabha represented RFP South Africa youth. From the 19th of August to the 23rd of August 2019, myself and 5 other delegates attended the World Assembly in Lindau, Germany. This was funded by the German government. The logistics for the whole of the assembly was done by with precision and by the German Federal Office. Right? I personally learned a lot from the gatherings of different religious leaders from 93 countries around the world, comprising of about 900, between 900 and 1,000 delegates. We salute the RfP International and the German Federal Office for organizing this event. On the 12th and the 13th of September, I attended the Southern Africa Regional Hub meeting in Zambia. This meeting was to get together delegates from Zambia, South Africa, Mozambique, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Malawi, and other Southern African countries, which fall into the Southern African Regional Hub. A very fruitful meeting where a committee was elected to take care of this particular hub. Now, if we look at the different hubs on the African continent, we have 5. One is the Eastern Hub, the Western Hub, the Northern Hub, and the Southern Hub, and also the Indian Ocean Islands. Those are the 5 hubs that fall under ACRL, African Council of Religious Leaders. And we all get together at different times of the year to have meetings. Right. And then we come up with different solutions to different types of things that are happening in different countries on the African continent, right? In conclusion, I thank RfP International, ACRL, and officials of RfP South Africa for giving me this opportunity. Look, personally, I like to also extend this gratitude to the Secretary Haley, who's been working sometime about 16 hours a day, right, getting things all out. Karen Reid, the treasurer. Debbie also, you must remember Debbie and I, when we started off, when I took over from Paddy, we had a lot of things to do and a lot of things to sort out, and we used to spend hours together trying to get it, in proper perspective. And now we have come to a stage where we've got lieutenants like Karen Reid and Haley, who have been carrying the flag, who have been carrying this flag to move forward. And then I also like to thank Marilyn for her part in keeping the youth side of it moving. Also, not last but least, Mama Ila, because she has been the backbone of everything. Every time we need some sort of advice or how to move forward, she's always there to guide us. And I thank you all very much, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Pundit, for that. I'd like to also give an opportunity for Marilyn to share maybe a little bit further about the exciting work that she's been involved in this year through Religions for Peace. Marilyn? Marilyn, your video's on, but we can't hear you.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for this opportunity to share a little bit. And thank you, Haley and Pandit, for the reports. So just a little bit from the youth side, we've been involved in as much activities as we can. We initially started off with the Youth Peace Forum, which we've been doing last year. And we had a great support there with the many schools around Durban. And then we went on to doing the Interfaith Youth Climate Forum campaign. That was due to me winning a prize with RfP International with the Global Interfaith Youth Network. And so that prize was some money which we were given to run climate campaigns. And we've been trying our best to do that campaigns, but unfortunately COVID came. It started off very well. We had programs with the Baha'i community, with Sukyo Mahikari, with programs with the school at our youth peace forums. We had, we planted a lot of trees. We distributed spectrum trees. We did a lot of educational and awareness programs. And we were going to do a lot of things like take it to schools and more workshops and have a climate festival. But we couldn't with COVID. And unfortunately, we were given that money for a certain period, and whatever we don't use, we have to return it back to RfP International for their year-end financials. So we're trying to explore if we can do a little bit more online activities. But even though if we give the money back, we're still gonna, I'm still gonna try and pursue this campaign with the youth, because I think it's still a worthy cause to advocate for Mother Earth and for climate change, because we have a lot of stuff going on. And then lastly, I've been a part of the youth media team with RfP International, so I've been involved in reporting all their work, interviewing religious leaders, and that 8 youth were hand-selected by the Secretariat herself, and we were given a training by DWA in Germany last year before the 10th World Assembly, and we were told to report on the conference on our social media pages and to advocate to mobilize more youth and get them more involved in interfaith work. So recently we've been doing a lot of online stuff, and for the Women Assembly, for the Faith and Diplomacy Assembly, we also had a media training before the assembly. So we were supposed to be in Lindau again, and we were invited, but due to the COVID being increased in Germany, the whole conference, which was supposed to be a hybrid conference, half in Germany with a few people and half online, it had to be canceled and turned completely online. So we ended up doing all our activities online, and we ended up having the training online. We ended up reporting on the conference. So it was 1 week of very hard work without any sleep as well. So we managed to get that going as youth. And then I just been involved in a lot of online activities and encouraging the youth as I go along and inviting them to the webinars. Recently, I was involved in recently, I was involved in a Youth as Agents of Change webinar with the World Council of Churches and the Lutheran World Federation, and with the traditional network of peacemakers. So I promoted a lot of Religions for Peace work there as well. And we also, recently, we've also been involved in SAFC environmental conferences locally. And today we have one with the Lutheran World Church in South Africa for a climate conference as well later this afternoon. They asked me to give a talk as well. So we've been doing a lot of online activities, and I'm trying my best to encourage a lot of youth to participate. And we hope that next year COVID will get a bit better and we can do more on-ground work. And I also had a meeting yesterday with Sarah as well. She was before in the Desmond Tutu lecture, which was amazing. And she's from South Africa as well. And she's from Cape Town, and she heard my talk at the Youth as Agents of Change webinar, and she said that she wants to partner up. She's from the United Religions Initiative, and also she has interfaith youth movement in Cape Town. So she wants to partner up with us as Religions for Peace in Durban and do more activities together. So we said when COVID gets better on the ground, we can maybe partner up and do more physical activities, but we're going to try and explore the online activities for next year to see how we can mobilize more youth and get them more involved, get them more inspired, and want to do more interfaith work. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marilyn. You've really been such a rock through all the crisis. So keep up the great work. So I'm just going to try and get through the rest of the agenda quickly. And please, if I miss anything, dear Pundit Barath or Marilyn or Karen, please let me know. Regarding the financial statements and the appointment of auditor, as Pundit Barath had mentioned, when he took over as chairperson, there was a lot of backlog to sort out. And so we have actually built the narrative reports from before I was secretary for the last 3-4 years. And those narrative reports are being submitted to the Department of Social Development. But we are waiting for the auditors who have been appointed to finish the financial statements from 2017 through February 2020, Pundit, if I'm correct. Once those financial reports are complete, all of those narrative reports, including the financials, will be sent over to the Department of Social Development. And let's hope as we move forward, we won't have any more of those delays. So we do apologize that at this stage, we cannot give an accurate financial report. However, anyone who would like to request the financial statements is very welcome to get access to that whole narrative report, which will include the financials once they are complete. So you can put your details in the email and those can be circulated to those who request them because it is public record. There was a suggestion from those who serve on the Executive Council to increase the membership of the Executive Council to 7 religious leaders. And we're putting that proposal through to the AGM today to make sure that it's representative of various faiths, but also so that there is a core group that can help make the decisions throughout the year and help guide the process so that it doesn't just fall on the Secretariat. Is there any objections to the proposal for a 7 representative religious leader council? If you have any comments, you can unmute yourself and you can second that, or you can bring in any comment.
Really, this about the 7 religious leaders, yes, that's going to be confirmed. But on the Executive Council, we have others also will come in, but they are not the top 7, right? Because we had decided some time back that the Executive Council of the 7 religious leaders will take care of sensitive issues where all the other executive, far and wide, wouldn't be part of that. So that's why we have come up with that, because previously they didn't have a thing like that. Just about anybody was invited to the executive meeting. But we found that, look, we need this sort of thing to go forward, right? That's why we propose that we have these 7 religious leaders. Before we continue there with that, Ellie, I've drawn up something regarding, I've been to the bank yesterday, and I couldn't get much joy from them regarding the statements, right, that Karen had needed. But I've drawn up something from the past where we've got an income and expenditure account from 1st of March 2019 to 29th of February 2020, right? The balance that was brought forward was 63,868 and 68 cents, right? That balance brought forward as far as income is concerned. Expenditure, the youth forum, on the 12th of March, this is from the 12th of March 2019, we had our conference, and the total expenses for that conference came to 31,267 and 19 cents, right? Then we had also the youth forums from 16 May to 27 September 2019, and that expenses for that was 18,300 rand, right? And the total expenses for that period of time was 49,567 rand 19 cents, right? And that balance, look, this is not a very accurate one. The most accurate one will come from the auditors, right? A bit later on, but this is something that we could we could work on, right? That was the financial. And if you look at the number 9, the amendment to the constitution, at presently there's none, but if we thinking of any amendments to the constitution, a notice of that must go out not less than 30 days before the meeting, right? If changes are going to be proposed, right, to the constitution, right? As Haley said to you, everybody, that election of officials, yes, it will be done every 2 years. Activities of the RFP, which Haley has highlighted. The appointment of auditors. Yes, we had to appoint an auditor because previously, I don't know who was the auditors, and we tried to get to the bottom of it. We couldn't get to anybody, right? This is a letter that I sent on behalf of the executive, authorizing Excel Tax and Accounting and Excel Consulting Incorporated to act as accountants and tax advisors for RFP and the auditor, right? So these are the things that we have been moving forward with. As soon as we can get statements for that from the 2017 period that I took over, and when a new banking account was opened in 2018 May, then that's going to be handed to the bookkeeper to do the books for those periods of time, and we're going to hand it to the auditor to audit it, and then we'll be fully fledged to send that to DSB, right? Now, the other thing is that we have asked the social development for amnesty, because presently we are going to send the narrative and a bit of the financials have a look at. For the what we're going to do is we're going to get all those things audited and slowly get the other years one audited right from 2017, and then we're going to send it to the Department of Social Development. Now, the other thing is that I have signed an affidavit at the police station and have given it to the secretary, that asking DSD to give us amnesty for the period of time that the reports weren't sent to DSD, right? So that affidavit also is going to go together with the reports. Okay, so that's about it from my side as far as the financial side is concerned, constitution, the appointment of the auditors, and the reports are concerned. Thank you very much, Haley.
Thank you very much, Pundit. Dear friends, it is now item 15, Proposal 2021, Call for Representatives of Various Interfaith and Religious Bodies. As I'd mentioned earlier, we are trying to build a more representative and collaborative national representation with like-minded organizations and faith institutions. So we ask all of that are present today if they have recommendations on people we can approach to join Religions for Peace as an organization. We would be very grateful for those references. We are currently setting up a more professional email that will begin to be used next year, but the email that we're currently using is just religions and then a number 4 peace sa@gmail.com. So if you can send any of those recommendations through to the Secretary, I can then approach them and explain a little bit about the vision of Religions for Peace and invite their participation and membership. And then moving on is the open discussion. So this is a time where if anybody has any questions, concerns, or needs more clarity, this would be the time for you to just unmute yourself and you're welcome to share.
Can I raise one point, Haley?
Thank you, Mama Ila.
Okay. I think that we need to have a motion to change the name because we were WCRP. I think we should take a resolution from this conference to say that we agree that we should now be recognized as Religions for Peace South Africa. That's the one, suggestion I want to make. The second one is that people in different areas should be able to form little groups which would be like the Cape Town Interfaith, the Johannesburg Interfaith, and so on, and then come together as the South African body. So they could have their own little interfaith organizations in their own towns or in their own provinces to be able to work on that. I think our constitution does allow for that, so we should encourage that. Those are the two suggestions I would like to make. Thank you.
Haley, it's Mike here. I would second that proposal that we do the name change so that it's recorded in the minutes that we change from WCRP to Religions for Peace. Would it be Religions for Peace South Africa, Ila, that we would need to change it to?
Yes, that is the proposal. And
Okay.
thank you.
Okay.
I think if there's no objections, then that proposal is now a resolution. So thank you for that, Mike. That was actually item 13. I apologize, I skipped it. So I will note that in the minutes. And then go on, Bishop.
Yeah, then just to build on the idea of expanding Religions for Peace, yesterday I met with the chairperson of the Western Cape Council of Churches, Lionel Lowe, and he certainly wasn't aware of Religions for Peace, but I asked him about some of the other interfaith bodies in the Western Cape, and there certainly are interfaith bodies. There are two bodies here at the moment. I just want some clarity because is it about those particular interfaith bodies becoming members of Religions for Peace, or are we hoping to establish say, for instance, a Religions for Peace Western Cape? Because for me, it would be best if we worked with existing interfaith groups. So I just need to seek the wisdom because I'm wanting to follow up with the chairperson of Western Cape. He's very keen and eager to hear more, and I'm hoping to share this today's recordings and so on to give him some more insight into Religions for Peace once it's available. So I just need to check the clarity in terms of how do we approach interfaith bodies, existing interfaith bodies in the different regions, because I really do believe, and I'm passionate about it, that Religions for Peace is the most representative body globally, and I think it's to people's best interests, interfaith bodies, to link with Religions for Peace. But it's just for me, it's just about the process and the protocols of how one goes about establishing Religions for Peace in the different provinces. Yeah, just some clarity on that. Thanks, Haley.
Thank you so much, Mike. I'm happy to answer that. And if I miss anything, dear Pundit or Mama Ila, just please let me know. So that's a very important point. So the goal of Religions for Peace International is to build interfaith collaborative action throughout the world. And to my understanding, there are already structures in place in some countries like interfaith interreligious councils that already existed, that are now affiliated with Religions for Peace. And we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We don't need to try and start our own branches of Religions for Peace, but when there are existing like-minded institutions, we form partnerships. So they become members of Religions for Peace, and we support their work. And of course, they support our work, and they share what they're doing on our platforms so that we can also help promote their work. So for example, in the Western Cape Religious Leaders Forum hosted a webinar on compassion, and that was just held, I think, yesterday. And so we were there to support that effort. We promoted that on our Instagram feeds and our Facebook feeds so that more people can support those efforts. So Religions for Peace South Africa is, to my understanding, trying to be an umbrella organization for the country that all of the like-minded organizations of interfaith action can plug into under one umbrella. So we have a unified action that is non-governmental and non-political. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Is there anything you'd like to add, Mama Ila or Pundit, to clarify?
Haley, I think we need to look at our constitution, the constitution that we drew out. But I think Pandit had a discussion with Dr. Kuria about it. And I'm not sure if, there are two possibilities. One is that every organization or individual who wants to join would join RfP South Africa as an individual or as an organization. So there'll be one organization in South Africa that will be joined by all these different organizations. But there will be no provincial structures. The other one, which we had thought of and which is in our constitution, and this is how we were formed in the old days when we started WCRP, and that is that each province would have its own WCRP or Religions for Peace branch. So it'll be a provincial branch, and they would recruit within their provinces both organizations and individuals to join them there. And then as provinces, we all come together and form the South African Religions for Peace South Africa. So it's like two different kinds of structure. And I'm not sure, because I know that Panditji had a discussion with Dr. Kuria, and I'm not sure which kind of structure has been accepted.
Okay, after my discussion with Dr. Kuria, he told me that, look, in the other countries in Africa, they have no, sort of provincial things or whatever. They've got an interfaith religious council, right? And that is affiliated to ACRL and ACRL/RfP. Now, in the case of South Africa, we've got 9 provinces, and it's going to be a bit difficult to form a provincial RfP structure, but we can get those organizations to affiliate with the umbrella body RfP South Africa, and we can get executives from there to sit on the main body RfP South Africa, right? So this is what in a past week, 2 weeks or so, I've been to Cape Town, Western Cape, and then I've spoken to Reverend Berry. Reverend Berry is the chairperson of the Cape Town Interfaith Initiative. And she is already very keen, and she has already filled in membership forms for the organization and for herself as an individual to be part of RFP South Africa. So I explained to her that, and I showed her the constitution also, and she's very happy in that way, because you must remember one thing is it's going to be very difficult to change their system, their name, and so on to RFP, like Western Province, or RFP Northwest or whatever. It's going to be very difficult. See, otherwise you have to form, each province has to form a structure there, with a necessary committee, and then from there they're going to sit on the umbrella body. Instead of that, as when I spoke to Kuria, he said, no, it is okay if those different bodies affiliate with the main body, and you have from different provinces the one or two executives sitting on the main body. So that is the discussion I had with him, and the other discussions the other discussions with the different bodies is continuing, and we're coming quite a bit far with that, because they are very interested. Safi is interested in the Western Cape. CTII is interested. They are going to affiliate with the Religions for Peace South Africa. So that is where we stand at the moment, and according to the constitution. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That clarifies a lot. Are you happy, Bishop?
Yes, thanks. I do like the latter approach, where existing interfaith bodies can take up membership with Religions for Peace. I think that would save a lot of hard work on our part in having to establish different structures in the different provinces. And if that's okay with our constitution, and if it's already beginning to happen, as Pundit had mentioned, of the Western Cape, we did speak about that yesterday in my conversation with the chair of the West Province Western Cape Council of Churches. So I do like that approach, because I think that's a much easier way of people of broadening the Religions for Peace membership, is to get existing interfaith bodies just to affiliate, and then obviously what the advantages of that is that they would then receive regular updates from ACRL and Religions for Peace International, and then when we do need to come together for various campaigns, then we have a database, a national database through which we can operate. So I do like that idea, because I think for us to go back to the original way, and I remember that being, because that's where I started with the World, as it was called, the World Conference on Religions for Peace, and I remember we called it the Durban chapter even, and I think that, yeah. So I think that I certainly support that. If that's and it sounds like we're already starting to do that, which is quite exciting. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And we also just don't have the capacity to start from scratch. So like the international goals say, those types of partnerships is really where the strength lies. Thank you, Bishop. Is there any other further points for discussion or questions? Okay. Friends, I would like to just say that I've put here proposed next meeting is to have the biannual general meeting 6 months from today on the 10th of June, which I just realized is my daughter's birthday, so maybe the 11th of June, just so that we have at least 2 meetings a year where we can invite affiliates from around the country to consult. Are there any thoughts on that proposal?
I think that June, I think that should be okay.
And if it's a biennial meeting, it has to be after our year ends, which is February next year. So any time after that, June will be fine, I think. Will we have our audited financials ready by then?
Yeah, I'm hoping everything will be ready before the end of February, so that when we have the biannual meeting, we can share those with anybody who hasn't requested them by email. We can just give a small report there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I
the
think
11th of June. Sorry, is there somebody else?
yes, Mahalia, I think that is good enough, because we'll have enough time to get the financials in order. You know what I'm saying? So I think that goes for me.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, so we'll approve that then.
Mhm.
And then do we need to discuss and approve because we proposed the 7-person executive council? Do we need
Yeah,
to put
look,
those names here? I see Dr. Flamini is with us, and I know his name was put
yes,
forward.
yes. Okay, Haley, maybe you can just read the names out of that 7, you know what I'm saying, to everybody. Then they will know that they are the top 7 executives. But there will be more executives that will come in. As I said previously, that when there are sensitive issues, then these 7 need to get together quickly and discuss those issues in a closed meeting. But the other executives will come in automatically, as far as different organizations and religious leaders are concerned.
Okay, and the 7 executives, should they not be national representatives, or because I know that the names put forward was Bishop Mike, Dr. Tlamini, Sheikh Salim, yourself, Ila Gandhi, Debbie Foster, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I was the 7th one as the secretary. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so those were the 7
that's
names.
correct.
Those are all people located in Durban. Is that appropriate? Are we happy with that, or do we feel that perhaps we need to extend that across the country?
Haley, at the moment we can stick with that, right, as those top 7 executives from this province. But later on, as we grow, then we may have to get from the other provinces the top 7, or we can put them into the other executives, with the other executives, so we'll decide on that when we come to that. But at the moment now, we need these 7 for certain types of issues and all that, not generally the running of the organization, but sensitive issues and things like that. Those 7 will always be called upon quickly to discuss those issues.
Okay.
Okay.
Are we all happy with that?
Yeah, yes, I would support that, because I think especially now that we sort of finding our way and navigating our way through these, especially the financial waters at the moment, that this is the group that, and I think has the most know-how, and I think so we can consider bringing other people on board once, in a way, just to put it quite simply, we have a house in order, and then to bring somebody from outside in could just sort of make it difficult for that person to adjust. So I would certainly support that. I just need some clarity, Pundit. You say that there's the 7, but the executive can expand to include others. Am I correct? But this would be the 7, but we can include others, but they won't necessarily be part of this group. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, Bishop Mike. You see, the 7 will be dealing with the, all the, very sensitive issues of the organization. But the other executives will come in, because see, if you look at each faith, according to the constitution, each faith is supposed to provide two members. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
If we haven't got a member from that faith into the 7, then automatically they will be part of the executive, but not part of the 7 top executives.
Okay. Sure.
Right.
Okay.
So
Sure.
that's how.
Okay.
Haley?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I think, I think we need to look at the constitution, but from my memory, I think we have a management committee and an executive. And it's the management committee where you have the 2 representatives of all the faiths and so on. So
Okay.
there's a small executive, which is the 7, and all the others would form a management committee, which would be in existence for the whole 2 years. And then after 2 years, you elect the management committee. But I think we need to look carefully at our constitution to see how those committees have been, set down in the constitution. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, just can I just come in there? Ilama is right. Look, according to the constitution here, we've got a National Executive Council, NEC, right? And that comprises of the president, 3 vice presidents, the treasurer, the secretary, and it used to be the chairperson of each region, right? So now if you look at that, that is that executive committee, right? And the executives of regional chapters, we have here the clause 6 of the constitution. An executive of a regional chapter shall comprise of a chairperson, a vice chairperson, a treasurer, and a secretary. Now, as Bishop Mike said, it's not feasible to go back to the same thing of regional chapters and so on, because if we are going to affiliate the different organizations, then that means now we'll have to follow, form a regional chapter in that province. See, which is it's a very difficult or an intricate thing to do. Instead of taking these interfaith bodies that are already existing there and affiliating them with Religions for Peace South Africa. See, so what we could do in that case there now, when we look at those bodies, we can always speak to them and ask them, listen, would it be would it be okay if one or two of you can serve on the main body as an executive, but it doesn't include that 7 we're talking about that has been set out as the top 7. That top 7 will change from time to time. They will change, right? But we need to look at this executives now from the regional chapters, because this is a clause 6 of the constitution, right? So it's a very the same thing that we'll have to look at, and maybe amend the constitution, those clauses, to say that, listen, we can affiliate these different interfaith bodies onto the main body, where we will take the one or two executives from there and put them onto the main body. See, so that is what the Constitution says, right? Okay.
So I think we have to also take another resolution to amend the Constitution. We don't have to give details now, but before the biennial meeting, we need to look at the Constitution, amend it, and send out the amendments to everybody. And at the biennial conference, we submit that so that it allows for changing the Constitution from having regional councils to having just one RfPSA, and everybody affiliates to RfPSA as equal members, not regional members and then national members.
Yeah, no, that's the way to go about it. But if you look at the clause on the amendment to Constitution here, clause 12, it says the WCRP SA Constitution may be amended as deemed necessary by members at an AGM or at an SGM. So we don't have to wait even to amend the Constitution at the BGM, right? It can be an SGM, right? We can call up, right, and we can make the changes. But if any changes are to be made, such amendments or inclusion should be submitted by the member to the secretary with a written notice of motion, right? And then the next one is says the Constitution can be changed by a resolution. The resolution has to be agreed upon and passed by not less than 50% of the members who are the AGM or SGM. And then the last one is a notice of the SGM or AGM must go out not less than 30 days before the meeting at which the changes are to be proposed. The notice must indicate the proposed changes to the Constitution that will be discussed at the meeting. See, so a notice has to go out to everybody for the proposal to change certain clauses in the Constitution from A to B or whatever the case may be. And then that will be put forward at the SGM or the BGM or AGM, whatever, right? And then the resolution.
Because it's all in your hands, okay? You make a decision.
Sorry, Tahir June, you're on. You're not on mute.
Okay.
We can hear you. Thanks.
Yeah.
Oh, you have your hand up. Go ahead.
I'm not sure if I'm permitted to speak, Hailey.
Sorry, Pundit, were you finished?
Yes, Hailey.
Okay, so I've noted that a 30-day notice needs to be given, and everyone has been invited to a meeting where the amendment changes are presented for approval. Thank you. I've minuted that. Tahir June, your turn.
Yeah, yes, these discussions sound very familiar to me. These were the kinds of things we were discussing with SAPC, the South African Faith Communities Environmental Institute. And yeah, I think the idea of the 7 serving as the executive, really dealing with the day-to-day stuff, and as I hear the sensitive issues, that sounds like a good idea. On the issue of the management, the bigger management structure of, I hear there's 14 people. One of the things, and I'm really ignorant, so please forgive me if I'm saying anything that you've already taken care of. You know, we are South Africa and we have a diversity of faiths. And I have seen sometimes on multi-faith structures how some of the indigenous groupings in South Africa kind of feel left out when we are busy with this kind of work. And I don't think it's intentional, but maybe there should be a supreme effort to reach out to structures such as the African traditional religions and others that fall in the indigenous groupings. And yeah, I mean, I don't know to what extent that any of these groupings are in the management of the organization, but I think in the spirit of unity and inclusivity, it might be good to watch out for that and to make a sincere effort um, if this hasn't already occurred. Yeah.
Thank you. Noted. Thank you very much. Any other further comments or consultation?
Yeah, just on that, Haley. In the past, we have been working with the African traditional leaders and so on. See, so it's just that we have to bring them on board now. Again, they've been there with us quite a long time. Like, look, if you look at Dr. Zamini, Zamini is not an African traditional leader, but he's one of the church leaders, right? But there were others that used to come to our workshops and conferences and so on. They from the rural areas. These are the traditional leaders, and we just need to pull them back on board again. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, friends, we're keeping to our time. Hey, it looks like we will finish by 12 or before 12. Are there any other thoughts?
Yeah, Haley.
Mm-hmm.
Before we conclude, I'd like to thank everybody who have been on the, with us throughout this morning, the lecture, and also the AGM. And once again, I thank all officials, Karen, Haley, Debbie, right, Marilyn, and not forgetting our mother, Mama Ila, right. Thank you very much for everything, and I can see we are growing. When I took over from Paddy in 2017, there's a thing that she mentioned. That look, it's there on it's even on the minutes too. That she said that there are going to be changes. There are going to be changes, and change is a thing that very few individuals get accustomed to, right? So the changes will come. It'll come slowly in its own time, right? So we just need to be prepared for those types of changes. The other thing is, when I spoke to Francis, he says we need to look at the constitution as far as term period is concerned for officials and the secretariat, because he says 2 years is a very short time for somebody to get into the organization and try to build up that organization and so on. He says in ACRL they've got in the constitution 4 years, two terms of office, right? So we have to look at that, with those things also when we are changing the constitution, right? That proposal we are making to change, maybe we should look at these changes also, because I suggest that before we sit down one day with the top 7, and we look at the constitution and see where the changes can be made, and we put that as proposals and see how it moves from there, right? Before we conclude, I just want to say to Bishop Mike, thank you very much, Bishop Mike, for coming and being with us, and you're a great support to this organization from those days. The one thing, Bishop Mike, I must mention is that you remind me of Antonio. You know Antonio? And Antonio, who's Antonio? Guterres. Right? Bishop Mike, thank you.
Oh, Antonio Guterres. Okay.
Thank you. Okay. I also want to just say thank you to Samin, who has been so kind as to help with the technical aspects of the lecture and the AGM. I really wouldn't have managed to do both the hosting or the facilitating of it without her help. So Samin, thank you so much. Really appreciate your help. And also Dr. Dlamini and Maki Tsoteti and Nakshivani Mulumba. We haven't heard your voices, but we are grateful that you've attended the AGM, and you're very, very welcome.
It's only a pleasure. It was really great. I enjoyed every moment of it. And it was actually quite good to hear what the institution is all about, what the organization is all about. So
thank you very much, Maki. So this recording will be available, both the lecture as well as the AGM is available by request. If you want to just send us your email, I'm happy to send you the link. So again, thank you for joining us. Any other closing remarks?
No, I think we can say that this was indeed a successful meeting. Thank you so much to the team that put it together, and again, thank you, Hayley, for your legwork and your sacrifice. So thanks again. Yeah, God bless.
God bless you too. Can I ask Nakshivani, are you there? Would you like to say a closing prayer for us? Okay. All right, can I get a volunteer to say a closing prayer?
Bishop Mike.
You've been volunteered, Bishop.
I was going to volunteer Dr. Dlamini.
Yes, that would be lovely. Dr. Dlamini, are you there?
Got to unmute.
You're on mute, Dr. Dlamini. Okay, he's quiet. Can I just revert back to you, Mike? Would you mind?
Okay, let us close off in prayer as we give thanks to God, our Creator, God, our Redeemer, and God, our Sustainer. We thank you, O God, for steering us in the spirit that this meeting was held. We thank you that we come from such diverse understandings, but yet together we have one common goal, and that is for the transformation and betterment of humanity. And so, Lord, as we go now to our respective places and as we continue in this day, we know that we go with faith, and we thank you that for this topic that we can indeed get through any crisis with faith in a higher power and in you. So bless us, O Lord, in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much, friends. Really appreciate all of you being here with us today, and have a blessed afternoon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.